All right, here's the thing. The Netherlands still can't believe that they are out for the first time ever, that they've been in a World Cup not making the round of 16. So this is what Frankie de Jong had to say. I feel empty inside. We played bad. We played with a numerical disadvantage in midfield. It was really difficult with only two midfielders. I'm disappointed, but that was the coach's plan, and we did our best to follow it. They had more possession of the ball. I'm not sure if you want to comment on that, Wheels, because there was frustration there at the tactics that his manager used. But also the question is how do you think Canada then should approach Morocco?
Forget Frankie goes to Hollywood. Frankie goes behind the wheel and drives right over his former national team manager and Ronald Koeman. I mean, it's a significant indictment of the manager, isn't it? But that had to be the sentiment when you were watching the game for the first time in the tournament. The Netherlands changed the way that they played to playing with five at the back, and they sat back deep with a collection of superstars, legit superstars in the game of football. And that's what I noticed watching as well. Morocco was very dangerous in wide areas, but it was the fact that they were very limited in the midfield with just Gravenberch and de Jong that really affected the way that the game was played. They weren't combative. They were unwilling and unable to engage, and they were outnumbered from time to time. What does this matter? Just hearing from Jesse Marsh in KJ's piece right there, Jesse's right. They alter the way that they attack. They alter the way that they press. But as long as it's Jonathan David plus another striker in that starting 11, they're playing with two attackers and two central midfielders. Like, Jonathan David isn't a central midfielder, and it frustrates me to no end how far he drops deep at times to attempt to play that role. But that's not the role that he plays best. And I think that there's been a lot of talk right here the last few days about whether Canada moves to five at the back, even though we've never seen Jesse Marsh play with five at the back, with the exception of very late in games trying to hold on or preserve a result. I think that's the wrong conversation to have. I think de Jong hits the nail on the head here. I think that you need to meet this challenge by bolstering the midfield. I think that you need three men in the midfield. The problem is Jesse Marsh has failed to do that, not even willing to experiment over his time with Canada as well. So I'm not sure what to expect from a group if they make an alteration like that, how it will play out and what it will look like, because quite frankly, we haven't seen it. That's what was very frustrating in the preparation for this tournament, because you have loved to have known maybe what Jonathan David would look like in this system as a lone striker and what this team may look like with an additional midfielder in play, especially with Nico Seeger playing so well when he came on in the last game. So I think that de Jong is right. I hope that Jesse Marsh is listening, because if there was an alteration to make, it's not going to five at the back. Canada's strongest at their fullback positions. I'm okay with them in wide areas. It's in the midfield to control the game where they need much more. I'm not sure how you feel about that, Michael, but I'll trust when a player like de Jong comes out and says words like that. And just watching that game, he was absolutely right.
Well, funnily enough, during that game, I was messaging with another member of FIFA's technical development group that I work with. And his note back to me was, "Hey, Michael, if you see any Dutch midfielders, can you tell me where they are? Because I can't find them." So that plays right into what you're saying. Again, I go back to that first question we talked about. This is where I see the defining moment. The defining moment is, what is that adaptation? Is there flexibility? Have they been working on things that we don't know about? And that happens. That you don't get all of the information, and they want to keep it from the public's eye as they prepare. In terms of how they're going to go apply themselves, as you look at midfield versus the wide areas, you mentioned it was that they like their numbers up in the wide areas, and the key to that scenario is not the first or the second player. It's how you control the third player, right? And that's where this additional midfield person comes into it. Is how do you deal with it? Because if you watch Morocco, they are very confident and very comfortable manipulating the ball, and then it's that third man running into the gaps or in behind, and you saw how many times they went in behind when you look at the data. If you want to look for some evidence of it, it was vastly outnumbered anything that the Dutch were going to do, and it probably leads the tournament. So in terms of that, it's about denying that service from the midfield scenario, and you're only going to be able to do that with some form of overload. And then that same player can go out and help in the wide areas. Because I agree with you. I'm not worried about our 1v1 scenarios in the wide areas. I'm worried about the 3v2 scenarios. And so that is where the problems are going to come. And so they need to bolster that area of the pitch. And quite frankly, that will come with an additional person in midfield. But again, I'm not convinced that Jesse is going to do anything different. Maybe his pitch allocation of where he sets up in a block situation might be different, but I just get a very funny feeling he's just going to go play how he wanted to play and believes fully in the players and in the way that they apply themselves in the DNA that they talk about.
You have that feeling, Michael, because that is what he has done. That has set the precedent. But we will have our answer on July 4th when Canada takes on Morocco. Round of 16. That will go 1 p.m. Eastern time. We will have a show following that at 5 p.m. to break it all down.